one notable result was a governorship race in Florida. The Republican Ron DeSantis was re-elected with a significantly increased majority. Mr. DeSantis has ambitions to run for president in 2 years' time, possibly challenging Donald Trump for the nomination.
We made promises to the people of Florida, and we have delivered on those promises. And so today, after 4 years, the people have delivered their verdict. Freedom is here to stay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, thanks to the overwhelming support of the people of Florida, we not only won election, we have rewritten the political map. Thank you for honoring us with a win for the ages. We've accomplished more than anybody thought possible 4 years ago, but we've got so much more to do, and I have only begun to fight. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you for a historic landslide victory.
For the very latest, we're bringing in Arise U.S. correspondent Eric Ham, who joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you for joining us, Eric. First, let's start with the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, it looks like the Republicans will win, but with a much narrower majority than we all expected.
Yeah, that's right. Look, let's start with the big picture. Going all the way back to 1853, no party in power has lost or has won or maintained their majority. In fact, going all the way back to 1853, the average loss in the House of Representatives for the party in power has been more than 50 seats. In the Senate, it's been more than 13 seats. So, and there was estimated that House Republicans would net 40 seats this election cycle. Well, now it's looking like their net might be at the highest 13 seats, at the lowest as low as possibly 1 or 2 seats, which means we could see this turning out to where it could be a tie, where Republicans could have a net 13 seats, or Democrats could actually just outright win this. So it's still not out of the question that Nancy House of Representatives. So we're watching how all of this plays out right now. Now, where Republicans really made tremendous gains in these House seats is in the state of New York. They actually picked up 8 out of 10 seats in the New York City area in Long Island. And that certainly helped pad their lead so far. But there's still many outstanding races to be called in the state of California. And there's the possibility that Democrats could actually cut into that lead in, of course, blue California. So we're still watching to see how it plays out. In the state of play in the Senate is still up for grabs right now. Democrats actually have gained a seat with that victory in Pennsylvania. Now it's looking as though it's going to come down to possibly Nevada or possibly a runoff in Georgia.
Well, and in the Senate, some big races still to be called, like you said, but it was a huge victory in Pennsylvania for John Fetterman and the Democrats.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And look, Fetterman had been winning this race since he got into it. This was a very difficult climb for Mehmet Oz. Many saw him as someone who was not from the state. Many saw him as a carpetbagger. And John Fetterman did something that Barack Obama was able to successfully do with Mitt Romney during the 2012 presidential election. And that was he was able to define Mehmet Oz early, and that certainly helped, given that he struggled after his health concerns with that stroke that he had. But now he will be going to the United States Senate to caucus with the Democrats. So a very good night. And many Democrats are breathing a sigh of relief today many Republicans right now are pointing the fingers because they certainly did not meet expectations. And now my sources are telling me that we could see an even greater battle within the Republican Party in the House, because now there's talk that even some might challenge Kevin McCarthy for that speakership role if Republicans take control, because they believe that he simply did not do enough to garner a much larger majority win for Republicans in the House. But of course, while many are still watching to see what the turnout is going to be, all eyes, of course, are now turning to Donald Trump. We're expecting him to make an announcement as early as next week about what he will do in terms of his run for the White House. And of course, many will be looking at this and saying that perhaps Donald Trump might not be the person to carry the Republican Party to success in 2024. Remember, in 2020, Donald Trump lost the White House, his party lost the House and the Senate, and now this election, they just simply haven't done as well as many thought they would. And some believe that it's because Donald Trump is now becoming a drag on the party. And we could even see more people calling for Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, to actually take on and perhaps replace Donald Trump in the upcoming elections.
And Eric, how crucial could this Senate runoff race in Georgia turn out to be?
Oh, it's very crucial. But there's one thing to remember. There was a third party candidate, a libertarian in the race who got over 80,000 votes. If there is a runoff between Raphael Warnock, the incumbent, and Herschel Walker, the Republican challenger, though that third party candidate will not be in the race. And the question, of course, will be, where will those votes go? And still, there's still a lot of outstanding votes in blue areas. So if there is a runoff, there's a good chance that Raphael Warnock could hold on to that seat.
And a big win for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Could he be the man to take on Donald Trump for the Republican nomination?
Well, Donald Trump, based on the way he's already targeted Ron DeSantis, certainly believes that he is the biggest threat to him becoming the Republican nominee for the White House in 2024. And so, of course, now all eyes are going to be turning towards what is Ron DeSantis going to do? Will he get in the race, or will he decide to stay out? We don't know at this time what his plans are, but of course, we're all watching and waiting to see what exactly will happen. And you're right. He ran. And now what we're seeing is Florida is, for the first time in its history, all Republican led, a Republican legislature, a Republican governor, Republican senators. And so what we're seeing now is Florida, which used to be a battleground state. Remember, Barack Obama won this state twice in 2008 and 2012. Now this is solidly in the Republican column. And many believe that Ron DeSantis has the momentum coming out of this election, whereas Donald Trump has suffered stinging defeats from the midterm elections. And many believe that now it is Ron DeSantis' time, not Donald Trump's, to actually lead this party back to victory in 2024.
And how would you sum up the night for Donald Trump and the candidates that he has backed?
It was a bad night for Donald Trump, no question about it. We saw he lost. His candidate lost is losing in Arizona. He's losing in Georgia. His gubernatorial candidate in Arizona is losing. And also a number of candidates that he backed have lost. Again, this was not the night that Republicans were hoping for. This was not the night that Donald Trump was hoping for. And of course, if in fact he decides to run for the White House and he announces next week, like many of us expect that he will, he's going to be looking like a wounded candidate coming into the race because of how poorly his party and his candidates actually did in this recent midterm election.
Oh, very interesting. Arise US correspondent Eric Ham, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.